This is kind of a welcome to Trello for the big idea. It's pretty simple, but there are a few terms that we need to get used to. To start with, this area is the workspace. The workspace contains all of the individual boards, so all of the individual categories. The person using the board, usually identified as a manager, he adds lists, and the lists help organize the board. Each list has the ability to house cards. Creating a card allows you to store docfs and PDF documents, internet links, due dates, and track progress. In simple terms, a to-do list, a doing list, or a done list. And these cards are movable. You can move them up and down within their list, or you can actually move them to another list when they are complete. As I said, this is basically a to-do list, a doing list, and a done list. I think the easiest way to kind of describe some of this is just to create a new board. So to tell you, we are in a free Trello workspace. It allows for 10 boards to be created. It allows 10 members of the group to be participants, and they have to have a link. If they don't have a link, they aren't able to get to the board. So this is private in that particular nature. Once you're in Trello, you have the opportunity to actually look at what everybody else is doing, because we are all admins at the free level. There is a premium level which gives you additional permissions. But let's go ahead and start by creating a board. So I'm just going to make one up here. First thing you have to do is give it a title. And I'm just making this up. And then to give it color or anything like that, you have these colors available, and you can see more. And you can go back, take a look at pictures. So there's all kinds of pictures that you can use to make it attractive or whatever you do. I find that sometimes the pictures are a bit distracting, but I saw one here that I thought was kind of cool, so we will go ahead and open this board now. So the board is ready to be opened, and we're going to create the board. And you'll see that once we're inside the board, this is where we're at, we're inside the board, it immediately has a list that you can go and add. So if I were to go back now to our Trello site, there it is. So I can open it, and it wants a list. So let's start with logo. We'll call it logo discussion. The minute you hit enter, it opens, it prepares you for yet another one. So we're going to say logo discussion. We're going to call this to do. And then we're going to click here and we're going to add logo. We're going to abbreviate it doing. And then we're going to do one that says logo complete. Done. So now we have 3 lists. Okay, so now I got a list. What am I going to do with it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and stimulate some discussion. So now we're going to add a card. And this card is going to be called current logo. So now I come back here and open it, and I want you to see that again. The little pencil over here. This is to add a new card to this particular list, and this is to play with the card. So now we're going to open the card, and we're going to say so that's the description of what we're doing. This is the current logo. Do we need to replace it? That's the question that we really are dealing with. Click Save, so that's there. Then you can go to attachment, and you can choose a file from the computer. You can choose a file from within Trello. You can also paste in a link if that's what you want. You can display text option. You got a lot of stuff there, but we're going to say, here is the current logo that we're using. Do we need to change it? Now, we could take a look at this and go, okay, well, one other thing that we could do is add a card with your ideas. So that's part of the description. So when everybody takes a look at this, they can come over here, they can come in, they can add a card, and they can put their comments in it without cluttering this one up. You can set this up by dates. So I want the start date to be September 5, and I want the due date to be September. Oops, I made a mistake. So let's go back to 5, and then a due date of the 13th. We have 1 day notification, and now we have set up date priority for the card. If you want your administrator to be alert as to what's going on, you can click Watch Card, and that means that anytime somebody posts on this particular card, I find that kind of clutters things up a little bit, but sometimes it's a good idea because somebody will come in to this one and say, oh, by the way, I just posted something special for you to take a look at. When it's accomplished, if it is accomplished before September 13th is what we selected, it will let you know. You can click on it, and everybody knows that that is complete. You've accomplished everything that you set out to do. You can also choose a cover for your card. So I can choose that, and if I choose that one, this is what it looks like in the list. If I were to say, I don't really like that, and go back up to cover, I can say I'm going to put my script over the top. What does that look like? Oh, that's a little better, because now I know that's the current logo, or the current logo. And then if I added another card to, whatever, card 2 and card E, that's exactly what we want. So as people are doing that, now, let's say that you have, this card has gone from the to-do list, and it's been worked on, and now I can move it over and I can say, okay, it's in the doing list. And so it completely removes it, and I can move that card, and I can eventually move that card. And then if I wanted to add done, I obviously didn't actually complete that one. If we go, okay, card 2 is now done. And card 3 is now done. And we're still working on this particular idea. And this is probably not the best example, but it's pretty easy to manipulate stuff. And if I want card E to be on top, I can move it. Card 2 on top, and put that one in the middle. So you have all kinds of things, but only the people that have the link can even get in here and work on it. And that's really pretty handy. Now, Judy and I went through and we added some things, and I think it was in chapter growth. No, chapter involvement. Nope, that's not it either. Oh, ideas and brainstorming. Okay, So she's already added this stuff. This is, and I just chose a picture, but so we've got an original thought, the big idea. This is the executive summary of the original business plan for the beta plan that Judy has put in here, and you can read it there. She could also, she's put in the entire thing in the description, and she's already put in a big business plan document. So you have it both ways. This will also take PDFs. And here again, like some of this, is historic in nature. Some of this is stuff that people need to know. And I have one in here. I went ahead and put one in for website updates, and this is basically a purchase website to consider the bigidea.org that I put in there, and then this is basically saying once we purchase it, we need to build it. But if I had dates in this, and if I said we're starting it on September the 5th, sorry, it's got to be further out. It always does the due date first. And then a start date of the 5th. And we can save that. And we'll say that this is going to take place on, we've bought it, so we're going to start working on it. So the due date for that is going to be the 27th. And the start date for that is going to be the 9th. And so now we have dates attached to this. So now that we have dates with that, there's a nice feature that you can do on individual boards, which is called a calendar power-up. And basically, when I click on it, it tells me that on the 13th we have one item. Purchase website, consider the big idea. Build a website on the 27th. So your cards are right there. So you actually have a calendar, and you can move stuff around. You can say we're gonna, and see it calls up the cards that you just collected, which is kind of a nice feature. Each board has to have one individually on the free. I haven't been able to figure out how to put it on the whole board, but that means that you can, if you date your stuff, it will automatically give you, and each board can get its own power up. And the way you do that is you're going to go to power up. You're going to add a power up. This happens to be free. That's why. Yeah, we want a catalog, or we want a calendar rather. And this is the free one right here. Let me take a look real quick. We got a power up. Okay, so now we have a calendar for this one. Nothing on it yet, but it gives you ideas, and it gives you a really handy way of looking at it. So this is basically an idea. This is basically what you can do with Trello, and it's pretty self-explicit. It's pretty user-friendly. There's not a whole lot of difficulty. The other thing is that there is a ton of videos that can help guide you if you get stuck. For instance, this morning, when I decided that I wanted to try and remember how to put a calendar onto something, I forgot. So how do I add a calendar to a board in Trello 2024? And it came up with a video. I was able to watch the video going, oh yeah, that's what you do. So it doesn't take a whole lot, and it's pretty self-explanatory. And let's say that this is no longer a viable, oh, I see I misspelled it. Anyway, that's not the name that we want for it. We want to call it Sparky. for whatever reason. And now you go back and you take a look at it. Now it's called Sparky. So that's just kind of an introduction to it. The thing to keep in mind is that the workspace is where the boards are housed. Inside the boards, you make lists. Inside the list, you make cards. And you can track what you're doing in individual increments. We are allowed 10 boards on the free site. We are allowed 10 members on the free site. It is private to only those people that we admit. So if you want to add somebody to your workspace, you go up here, and then you stick in their email, or you send their email address or their name if they're already in here, or you can ask to create a link and email them the link. But only 10 people, and only the people with the links can actually get into the workspace to make any changes or updates. I hope that helps.